I had a
Hello,
very good. Hi.
everyone.
How you doing?
You sound like you're coming down with the cold.
Who?
Who are you
Claude.
speaking of?
Claude.
No, I am just I am a little congested tonight, but I'm doing okay. So, yeah, I'm a little sniffly, but I don't know why.
He always sounds that way.
I do, yeah.
That's his sexy voice.
Hey,
It's
Larry.
There you go.
that
Yes.
deep voice.
I was ready to go to Lakeland, Washington.
Yeah.
Lakeland, yeah.
I knew that wasn't true, but
Yeah.
you know, they could have, I mean, for some reason, but you can tell where there's some decision to be made, and that's
Yeah.
where the candidates go. The decision's already been made here in Washington State.
Especially with the help of the movie star.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like I said, a face made for radio.
You did
You
good.
But, but
You
look
look
good.
pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Thank
really
you.
did.
Thank you.
You look
Did
like
you
a
do-
union man.
Did you do all that in one take?
It was
Those
a
makeup
one-take
artists,
deal.
they're really
Good
good.
deal. Good deal.
Makeup artists and the computer graphics people.
There you go.
They even
You should
changed
know,
your-
Larry, you don't get any sympathy from this group.
No,
I know where we can find sympathy. It's listed in the dictionary, but
that's right.
I won't say between which two words, but
We better be nice. They're going to tell us we're a hot mic.
we're being recorded. That's right.
Yeah, that's coming up soon. So I'll do my best this evening to look down at the participant list to look at raised hands, but I may not be able to do that. So I know Teresa will point it out when motions are made. So because I'm not sitting in the chair that Nancy occupies, and I don't have a gavel, and I don't have a camera in front of me except this one on the iPad.
Here, I'll loan you
Well,
mine.
almost.
There you go. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Recording is started.
Oh,
Thank you,
see
Teresa.
that?
Yep.
I thought we could write a message.
Is there in the chat box? Is there a chat box?
I don't see a chat box
No,
on
no chat
mine.
box. Because if you do that, it's part of
Oh,
public
I
record.
know. Yeah, that's right. Never mind. Well, my husband took all the Halloween stuff down, and guess
Oh,
what
gosh.
he did? He put all the Christmas stuff
He's
up.
already decorated? Wow.
I told him I'm not decorating the inside until after Thanksgiving.
I don't blame you. This year's gone by too fast, but we can't wait for it to be over.
Right. Actually, I think it's been going pretty fast.
Yeah, it has been going fast this year. Yep. All right. A couple more council members to join us. Okay, Teresa, are we ready?
Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Great, thank you. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our City Council meeting for November 2nd, 2020. I will call this meeting to order. This meeting is being held virtually and telephonically this evening. Per the Governor's Emergency Proclamation 20-28, the City of Auburn is prohibited from holding meetings in person at this time. City of Auburn Resolution 5533 designates the City of Auburn meeting locations for all council, boards, and commission meetings as virtual. All meetings will be held virtually and telephonically until King County enters into Phase 3 of Governor Inslee's Safe Start Washington Phase Reopening Plan. And with that, we all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
of America.
and to the republic
Republic.
for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you. Teresa, will you please call the roll?
Deputy Mayor DeCoursey,
Here?
Councilmember Baggett,
Here.
Councilmember Brown,
Here.
Councilmember Giral,
Here.
Councilmember Malinga,
Here.
Councilmember Stearns,
Here.
Councilmember Trout Manuel.
Here,
Great, thank you. Do we have any announcements, proclamations, or presentations this evening?
No, we don't, Deputy Mayor.
Any agenda modifications?
No, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, very good. And I see we have new business as item number 5. I do not believe we have any new business this evening. So we move on to citizen input, public hearings, and correspondence. We do have 2 public hearings this evening. The public hearing for the 2021-2022 preliminary biennial budget. Public hearing number 1 is for the 2021-2022 biennial budget. This time I will open the public hearing number 1. And Teresa, I believe we have received some public comments that we have for public hearing number 1.
Yes, Deputy Mayor, we have one public comment from Mr. Zimmerman, who stated there are several critical issues that needed to be included in the City of Auburn's budget process. Evaluating the effectiveness of current expenditures is critical.
Great, thank you. And Council, I believe everyone has received the comments for the public hearing. Okay, great, thank you. And with that, then I will close public hearing number 1 and open public hearing number 2, 2021 property tax levy. Director Thomas, do we have any presentation from staff?
No presentation, Deputy Mayor. This is just a follow from our presentation given at the study session last week.
Great, thank you. And do we have any public comments for public hearing number 2?
No, Deputy Mayor, we do not.
Great, no public comments. So I will close public hearing number 2. Thank you very much. And we'll now move into audience participation. This is the place on the agenda where the public is invited to speak to City Council on any issue. This is virtual participation, so participants can submit written comments via email, fax, or mail. All written comments must be received prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting. That must be 350 words or less. And in our agendas, we have the email address, the mail address, and the fax email, the fax addresses that we send these to if you're interested in doing public comments. And Teresa, do you receive any public comments this evening?
Yes, Deputy Mayor, we have one from Mr. Zimmerman. He expressed the importance of paying attention to scientific facts as it relates to health and safety.
Great. Council, I believe you received that public comment as well. Thank you very much. Any correspondence this evening?
No, Deputy Mayor.
No correspondence. Okay. All right. We will now move into Council Ad Hoc Committee reports. We have one Ad Hoc Committee at this time. That is our Finance Ad Hoc Committee, chaired by Councilmember Baggett.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Finance Committee, the Ad Hoc Finance Committee, consisting of Councilmember Stearns and myself, we reviewed over 40 pages of claims vouchers totaling $2.1 million, dated November 2, 2020. The committee also reviewed payroll vouchers for the period October 15th to October 28th, 2020, in the amount of $2.5 million. The committee recommends council approval of these vouchers. You're muted, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is our consent agenda item. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered by the City Council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Is there a motion for the consent agenda? Councilmember Trout
So
Manuel.
moved.
Councilmember Trout Manuel. You're muted.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion for the consent agenda.
Okay, and a second, please. Seconded by Councilmember Baggett.
Second that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Trout Manuel, go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna accept the minutes of October 19, 2020 for the regular council meeting. And as Councilmember Baggett mentioned about the claim vouchers coming up to 2.1 million and the payroll vouchers were 2.5 million. And they were for November 2nd, 2020 and October 15th to October 28, 2020. I move to accept the consent agenda.
Thank you very much. Any discussion, council? Hearing none, all in favor of the consent agenda approval, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes. Do we have any unfinished business to discuss this evening? Okay, hearing none. We'll move into resolutions. Resolution number 5549, a resolution amending the City of Auburn fee schedule to adjust for 2021 fees. Do I have a motion for resolution 5549? Councilmember J. Raj.
Thank you, Your Honor. I like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 5549.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember Trout Manuel.
I second that, Deputy Mayor.
Great. Hey. Councilmember J. Raj.
Thank you, Your Honor. Resolution 5549 proposes modification to the city's fee schedule as part of its annual review process. Each department has reviewed its fees, rates, and charges to ensure they are reflective of current costs. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any discussion, council? Hearing none. All in favor of resolution 5549, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Resolution number 5556, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Auburn and Waste Management of Washington for a comprehensive garbage, recyclables, and compostables collection services. Do I have a motion? Councilmember J. Raj.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 5556.
And a second by Councilmember Baggett, please.
Second that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember J. Raj.
Thank you, Your Honor. The City of Auburn's solid waste contract with Waste Management and franchise agreement with Republic Service both expire September 30th, 2021. The city conducted a request for proposals, RFP, process to competitive procure the next solid waste contract. Waste Management was the highest scoring proponent. City staff have finalized the new contract with Waste Management that will be effective October 1st, 2021 and encompass the entire city. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Council, any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of resolution 5556, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Resolution number 5557, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the City of Auburn and E&K Farms, LLC, for grazing animal sheltering services that cannot be held at the city's primary contract shelter. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Stearns.
I move to adopt resolution number 5557.
Okay, and Councilmember Brown for a second.
Second that motion, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilmember Stearns.
Thank you, Your Honor. Currently, Auburn's animal control has a duty to impound animals in cases of neglect, cruelty, or fighting. These animals include horses, goats, chickens, and even more that they cannot be housed at the Auburn Valley Humane Society. Our agreement with E&K Farms would provide a location for Auburn to house and care for these animals when needed. This agreement would be to provide a viable location to house them and to help out our community.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember Stearns. Any discussion, Council? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of resolution number 5557, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, Council, that concludes our regular business for this council meeting. So now we will move into our mayor and council member reports. And I'll go ahead and start quickly. I know we've all been very busy over these last couple of weeks. I believe most of us have, and we've had a lot of sessions we've attended. And I'll be brief in my comments, but I've got a few things to bring forward to you. So first of all, on October 22nd, along with Mayor Backus, I attended the Puget Sound Regional Council Executive Board meeting. That session was to discuss and move forward the Vision 2050 to the General Assembly, which was held on October 29th. And on that October 29th General Assembly meeting for Puget Sound Regional Council, along with Mayor Backus and Councilmember Baggett, adopting Vision 2050, as far as say, was adopted. And just briefly, for those who may not really know what 2050 is through PSRC, by 2050, the central Puget Sound region is expected to grow by nearly 6 million people. Accommodating this growth while working to enhance our communities will not be easy. Building a more prosperous, sustainable, and equitable region requires working in partnership toward a shared vision. Vision 2050 reflects the region coming together to address our most urgent issues and to renew the vision for the next 30 years. The COVID-19 pandemic only crystallizes the need for urgently addressing these challenges, including fixing our affordable housing crisis, improving mobility options for all, and mitigating and adapting to climate change. The plan will serve as a guidepost for how we work together to tackle challenges and make the region a more inclusive and better place to live in the years to come. And for those listening, when we go through this process of PSRC, every city, county, the Port of Seattle and Port of Tacoma and others are involved in this process. So it's a wide variety of individuals and elected officials who go through this process, which is taking a few years to get to that point where it's been approved and adopted as the guiding principle for how we conduct ourselves through the growth of the region for the next 30 years. On October 23rd, I participated in our first Sound Cities Association Deputy Mayor, Council President, and Pro Tem joint meeting. It's the first time that any of us have had the chance to get together as one group. We're going to continue to have regular meetings. We shared what's going on in our individual cities, shared some of the things we do in our positions as deputy mayors or council presidents or mayor pro tems, whatever your title is in each of those cities. And it was a very, very enjoyable time. And Deanna Dawson, the SCA Executive Director and President, has mentioned that we will do this regularly, and I'm looking forward to future meetings with that. And then on October 26th, along with Councilmember Trout Manuel, we attended the Association of Washington Cities Federal Legislative Priorities Committee meeting. This is a process that we normally go through by telephone. It's once in a while we meet in person, but we normally do this by telephone anyhow. And this is going to provide us with a agenda to bring back to Washington, D.C., either in person or virtually, so our federal legislatures know the position that we in our cities take jointly and the issues that are very important to us jointly. And a lot of those issues that we face are the current issues that are coming about in our communities, including the COVID-19 issue, which AWC is working hard in Washington, D.C. on the stimulus package that we have not received yet. And hopefully after tomorrow, Congress will be in position to take the next steps on the next stimulus package. Also looking at investments in local public infrastructure, investing in our safe communities, supporting policing reforms that address race equality and to enhance transparency and public trust in law enforcement. And also looking at the potential 2021 legislative priorities, looking at definitely investing in transportation. We have a crumbling interstate system that needs to be taken care of. We definitely need to invest more in affordable housing, and the AWC is pushing for the adoption of emergency rental assistance and the Rental Market Stabilization Act to address housing instability caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, and also to protect our public control over our right-of-ways and to protect our local fiscal sustainability and regulatory efforts. And then also on October 26th, I attended our regular Sound Cities Association Affordable Housing Committee caucus meeting. We are still reviewing the shared principles that have been provided to us by the Affordable Housing Task Force, and looking at the direction we'll take on that for King County, knowing again that the greatest need of affordable housing is the 0 to 50%, and the revenue sources that need to address that are being discussed. It's a huge price tag, about $20 billion for 44,000 units between 2019 and 2024. And of course, not all that money is in the bank. So we have a challenge ahead of us with that. And the greatest need is the 0 to 30% area median income folks that are severely impacted not only by COVID-19, but as prices keep rising, they're pushed out of the market. And then finally, on October 30th, I participated in the SCA Partner Forum, Building an Equitable Economic Recovery Process, along with Councilmember Stearns, and he may touch more on that. Again, the cities came together. We had a couple of breakout sessions and shared some ideas and thoughts of what we have done and what we are continuing to do in our cities to assist especially our small businesses and in their efforts to maintain and sustain their businesses. And with that, I'd like to call on Councilmember Trout Manuel for her report.
Thank you. I attended a lot of Zoom meetings, as a lot of you have. One of them that I really enjoyed was the Good Eggs meeting. They had a developer talking about the Federal Way, where they're going to be redoing a lot of things in the shopping area. They're going to use the Sears store that's vacant. They're going to turn that into a grocery store. And then for those of you that love Macy's, Macy's is going to be out of there by the end of the year. And they're not sure yet what they're going to do with that area, but that whole mall is going to be redone. And then they're building some other areas where they're going to be building over towards the Highway 5, they're going to be building some more offices, and right across the street from the Sears, they're going to build also some 4 or 5 levels of offices. So it was really, I really enjoyed listening to what's going on in their area, because I see a lot of growth in our city as well. Then on Wednesday, the 21st, I attended the AWC Equity work group, and there's 12 of us cities are involved in that. We're all talking about what's going on in our cities, how are we using the equity lens, how many of the cities are actually doing the diversity equity training, There's only a couple of us that are doing it, we're more advanced than the other cities are. They gave us a little work list that we have to go through and submit it to AWC on what we see that they could do for our cities, what kind of trainings that they could do for our cities, give them a tool, some type of toolkit to give to each city for training. Then on the 22nd, Councilmember Malinga, we met with Jeff Tate on the Wellness Committee, and it was really nice to get together with the Joint Committee, the Health Committee that get all the applications, which they're going to be bringing to council here pretty soon, so that they're going to ask for some money from us. So I'll leave that up to when they bring it to our council. Then I'm really proud of our club. We, since October was Domestic Violence Month, and I feel really horrible that I was down and I couldn't do very much. But I wish all of us would go to, I don't know if you saw the reporter about the prosecutor attorney from King County that has said that King County domestic violence homicide reaches 16 so far this year. And while we were in the meeting, he spoke about another one that had just happened that morning. So our club, Kiwanis Club, the Morning Kiwanis Club, this is the second year that we have done a fun run, and we raised a little over $6,000, and the money is going to be going to Dawn, the food bank, Pacific, and Algona, because they have a domestic violence task force. And then also, we haven't decided on another group. It's a Hispanic group. There's two of them, so we're trying to decide where we're going to spend that money. But yeah, I had a very busy week, as 2 weeks as most of you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Stearns.
Thank you. I attended on October 20th, the Association Washington Cities meeting on the future of Washington State policing, and the people who, including the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, were there, as well as staff from state agencies, talked about I-940, implementing it, and especially the independent investigations criteria, which the Valley Investigations team already meets, as we know from our study session last week. On Friday the 23rd, I had the pleasure of attending the inaugural Indigenous Municipal Officials meeting of the National League of Cities. And on Wednesday the 28th, I attended Ryan and I's Management Committee meeting. We approved the federal priorities, which followed last month's approval of the state priorities. And I'll be working with Jeff and Dana to bring our state priorities to the council in the near future for approval. One of the projects in the state priorities is the Loans Levy, which is just upstream from us along the Green River. So that'll be important. On Thursday, the 29th, I attended Puget Sound Regional Council, which is really fun. And on Friday, the 30th, I attended the Sound Cities Association's meeting with the Port of Seattle on how to build an equitable economic recovery. In one of our breakout sessions, Commissioner Sam Cho was there, and he really wanted suggestions from the cities on how the port can provide funding through grants to the cities and what kind of ideas. So certainly tourism is one thing, but that's something that the city of Auburn can, I believe, work with the port to get some funding from them. Apparently they have money to do that. Also, the port wanted to encourage people to fly, so they're going to figure out a way to convince me that it's safe to fly. And then the last thing I'll mention is that November is Native American Heritage Month. This is the month to celebrate the rich and diverse cultures, traditions, and histories of Native people and to acknowledge their contributions. And this is something that every president since George H.W. Bush started in 1990, every president has issued an annual proclamation designating November as American Indian Heritage Month. And so I encourage everyone to celebrate that. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Councilmember Malinga.
Nothing to report, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Jayraj.
Thank you, Your Honor. Couple of things. I don't have anything to report, but the couple of things is tomorrow is election day, and those at this point, based on what I've seen, is there's about 72% of the votes have come in for the state of Washington, and over 1 million ballots have come in from King County. And I encourage anyone who is watching us and who hasn't voted, please vote. It is your duty to do it. I am hoping all the council members have already voted, including the deputy mayor. Other than that, please mask up, wash your hands, and social distancing, and stay safe.
All right, thank you. And yes, my ballot has been counted. All right, Councilmember Brown.
Thank you. It's hard to follow this august group of council members who reported on things that I have done and things that I have not done. But just want to wish my fellow council members a good election day and the people of Auburn a good election day. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And lastly, but not finally, Councilmember Baggett.
Thank you, Your Honor. On Wednesday, October 21st, I attended the King County Regional Transit Committee, for which I am a member. And we attended the caucus and the general meeting along with city staff member Cecile Malik. Many issues were discussed at the caucus and the general meeting. However, of significant importance to our city. Bear with me just a moment here. I just lost my train of thought. Not only to our city, but also the South King County neighbors, was that Metro is apparently changing their approach to their evaluation of route productivity, or how they calculate their ridership. They will now consider the community needs and not just the ridership, which has inherently shown Auburn as scoring very low or poorly. Our staff has brought this to their attention, to the committee on several occasions when threatened routes were to be removed. Due to our city's persistence and that of the South County cities, Metro is now recognizing that we have many many unmet needs, and will now begin to prioritize these needs, which should help the entire area. On Wednesday, October 28th, I had the honor of representing our city in testifying before the King County Budget and Fiscal Management Committee in support of the proposed and currently budgeted Rapid Ride I-Line transit service planned for the cities of Auburn, Kent, and Renton. This service was proposed, will connect our South County cities to our regional growth centers with fast, reliable, and efficient transit in 2023, serving current users and the projected additional population and employment growth as noted in the regional growth plan and vision 2040 and I believe now 2050. This line will represent a much needed improvement for our city, which has been historically underserved by transit. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Council, a couple more things really quickly. The National League of Cities application process for committees is now open. And if you're interested in serving on a committee, please go down the list and see which committee you may be interested in serving on. And then email Mayor Backus and express your desire to serve. And she will follow up with you on that. So that is open between now and I believe December 1st, I believe, the 5th. Go ahead, Councilmember Troutman.
Yes, they just extended it to the 5th.
To the 5th, December 5th. Okay, very good. And then lastly, we need to send our condolences to our mayor. Unfortunately, today she had to say goodbye to Harley. Harley is Auburn's first dog. And that's really sad. We all have had to do that with our pets. Our pets are our family members. They're like our children. And it's hard to say goodbye. So best wishes to Mayor Backus and her family. And she'll be off. She was off the rest of today and she'll be off tomorrow. And we just wish her our best. So with that, Council, thank you everybody for your attendance and your attention this evening. We are adjourned.
Wait, I have some.
Oh,
I have
go ahead,
something.
Councilmember Troutman.
I have got one of these for everybody for the parade. So that way you could take off your mask and still be shielded. So I'm going to drop them off in your office so you'll have them for the parade.
All right, great. Thank you very much. And now,